Let's talk to Robert Fisk. He's a journalist with the Independent newspaper in the UK. He's interviewed bin Laden before and he joins us live now from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Robert, good to talk to you again. Look, it does seem extraordinary, doesn't it, that bin Laden wasn't hiding in some cave system in Tora Bora, but in a residential area in Pakistan, right under the noses of the military elite. I mean, what sort of support network do you think he had in Pakistan?
Well, I think part of his support network was the inter-services intelligence of Pakistan. You know, they had such close relationships with the Taliban and good relationship for a long time with bin Laden. And I think it's the same old story. Among the military elite and the security elite in Pakistan, the failure of America to address the issue of Kashmir, effectively giving it over to India, or giving the problems of it over to India, because of course America wants India as a bulwark against China. I think that's enraged the security elite in Pakistan. I think that's one of the reasons why they've continued to help the Taliban and why they had no objection at all to having bin Laden moving across the border. Bin Laden certainly went down to Karachi a lot of times. He was very fond of Karachi. He told me that himself. So I think he had a fairly free run around Pakistan when he wanted to. This stuff about, oh, we didn't know he was there, we didn't know, I think this is rubbish.
In terms of the operation itself, what's your assessment as to why bin Laden was killed rather than captured? I mean, was there some sort of unwritten understanding that he was to be killed anyway, perhaps as a final retribution for 9/11?
I rather suspect so, frankly. I mean, Zarqawi, Musa al-Zarqawi, remember, he was killed in Iraq, wasn't he, in 2006 in an airstrike, rather than being captured and questioned about what he knew. One of the things that interests me is that very, very quickly after he was identified as being dead, he was being buried at sea from an American warship. I don't think warships can arrange burials at sea in 2 hours or 3 hours. This must have been pre-planned. I noticed that we're told that Islamic rites were followed, that bin Laden's body was washed and put in a white shroud. Does the USS Carl Vinson, from which he was buried at sea, have a resident imam on board? This seems to be very pre-planned stuff, doesn't it?
So who do you think will emerge to replace him, Robert? I mean, Ayman al-Zawahiri is widely regarded as the al-Qaeda number 2, but I suppose the real worry are about the emerging figures we don't know much about.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I'd have to say something, and you won't like me saying this, that I think one of the dangerous parts of our endless speculation of who will take over, and there never was a leadership, there was a foundation. Al-Qaeda means the foundation, I mean, bin Laden was the founder. It's taking our eyes off the earthquakes going on in the Middle East, because at the end of the day, Syria, Libya, Egypt and Tunisia are infinitely more important than who will be the next leader of Al-Qaeda. I don't know if there will be lots of revenge attacks. Perhaps, we don't know. But I really think that, for example, Erdogan's speech just now, which you've shown quite rightly live on Al Jazeera, where he calls for Gaddafi to stand down and tells the Syrians to stop shooting their own people, was infinitely more powerful, more important, more eloquent than the boastful Hollywood speeches we've heard from Mrs. Clinton and from Barack Obama over the last 36 hours.
Robert Fisk in Beirut. Robert, thank you.